Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So in this one I'm going to talk a little bit about content confusion. You might wonder what I mean by that, but I get a lot of the same questions about where's this and where's that. And to be honest, I don't really know why the devs have done this the way that they've done this. Now, it's fantastic that we get these updates, right? So it's great. You know, they've started giving us what you would expect to get from most games. And I guess in essence, it's kind of like a roadmap. But the thing is, without any dates or kind of timelines to follow, it starts to become a little bit confusing about when we're going to get things. Like, mainly the first one is Goken, right? I think most people probably expected Goken's countdown to start, basically, when this update dropped, right? And worst case scenario, maybe it would have dropped a week later. Now, we've already gone a week later and they've still not started the countdown for it. So that means that no matter what happens now, Goken cannot be within 2 weeks of that update because the countdown lasts for 7 days. This update was pushed out 7 days ago, so if Goken was coming out in a week's time, then the Goken countdown would have started today. So it's caused a bit of confusion as like when we're actually going to get this. And to be honest, it probably now means that if the Turtles are going to come out after they do the Evo thing, then we're probably only actually going to get one event before the Turtles, which is going to be seriously disappointing to those who really wanted to stack up currency and stuff like that. I mean, you can still have about 400 odd tickets by the time it rolls around, but obviously that's nowhere near as good as the potential 600 plus tickets we could have had if there was 2 events, you know, and a slightly longer time period between the events coming. There's also a lot of other things, like obviously Street Art is not here yet. I think we've not had Honor Treasure, I'm not entirely sure yet, we might have had that. But these update notes, I think if they're going to continue to do it like this, they should give us a date. I'm not complaining, I'm just giving advice that if they're going to do it in this sort of a roadmap kind of way, that's awesome, right? That's fine. But give us a breakdown, an idea, because as a content creator, it's a little bit aggravating when people are kind of expecting things and they don't show up, and then you get asked the question of where's this and where's that, you know? Because I know as much as you do. And unfortunately, I feel like it would be quite easy to avoid this just by giving us dates, you know, it wouldn't be very hard. But it does mean that the likelihood is that we're not going to get as many tickets before the Turtles coming as was hoped. And the reason I say that is because I believe, don't know for a fact, that at Evo, which is the 2nd of August, I believe, to the 4th, they're going all in on the Turtles news, right? That's pretty much when they're going to do it. Now, if we look at the last time they'd done that, I believe it was at the Anime Awards, where they announced that Monster Hunter was going to be coming to Street Fighter Duel. And after they posted that announcement, it was a day, 2 days, and they dropped the countdown. So the countdown came, we knew it was going to be within, I've got a feeling 5 days. I don't think Ken was a 7-day countdown. I think it was 5 days. So it was like 2 days after the announcement, they started the countdown and then it came. So I believe they'll probably do the same for the Turtles. They'll either start a 7-day countdown the following day, or they will start a 5-day countdown 2 days later, like Monster Hunter Ken. So if we look at the dates now, if we are potentially looking at, if I had to guess, Thursday for the Goken countdown to start happening, then that would take us into, let me just double check my dates here to get this right, that would take us to the 20th. So if that ran for 2 weeks at that point, that would take us up to the 3rd, that would finish. Now, I wonder if they might not even do a countdown for the Turtles. I mean, that would be weird, right? But no, that would actually tie up. That would tie up. That would mean that if it started on the 20th, the countdown, the event itself would start on the 27th. Then we would have the 3rd and the following week, which would be the 10th, if they had announced the Turtles at EVO on, say, the last day of the 4th, it would just be weird. I mean, they would basically have to do the countdown during the Goken event, which seems a bit weird, to be completely honest. I'm wondering how they're going to do this. But it does ultimately mean that we're not getting 2 events. Unless they announce the Turtles at EVO, which is what they're supposed to be doing as far as I know, right? But again, take that with a pinch of salt. Unless they announce it and it's not going to come out until like 2 or 3 weeks after, then there's no way that we're going to get more than 1 event between now and the Turtles. Now, normally I would say that was a good thing, to be honest, because you don't want too many events because, well, you do actually, right? Let's clear that up. You do want the events. You don't necessarily want the characters because it's too much pressure to summon, but obviously they come hand in hand. You get characters with events, so you can't really have one without the other. But ultimately, it looks like now the chances of Oni coming are probably not going to happen. If they had launched the Goken countdown when the update note rolled out, we would pretty much be going into the Goken event maybe just after this Effigy Clash finishes, which seemed viable. I mean, if we look at Effigy Clash just now, there's 7 days and 18 hours remaining. So, I mean, I guess there's a chance that the Goken countdown could start tomorrow, because then that would mean exactly as this finishes, then the new event starts. However, I'm fairly sure, although someone can correct me, I'm fairly sure we've had an overlap before. I'm fairly sure that events have started when the guild event was still going. It was the last one, I think, just the last couple of days of it. There was something running. Can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm fairly sure there was something running. So there's no guarantee that the Goken countdown will start tomorrow. It could start on Thursday still, because they kind of, I've noticed there's a trend, they seem to like to start events on a Thursday. Again, it's not always set in stone, but it does seem to happen quite a lot. But ultimately that's going to mean that your resources for these guys are going to be probably a lot less than expected, because with the Goken event it'll be about, what, 110 that you get. You'll have maybe a HWA. If you've qualified for the Super Showdown and stuff, you'll have those tickets. But it means that depending on when you started saving, if you'd started from 0, I think you'd be really hard pushed to have over 500. Now that's still hoping that they do use standard summoning currency for, well, I say standard summoning currency, I mean these stupid things, for the Turtles. I've still got this horrible fear that they'll introduce one-time currency. I really hope they don't. I'm not wishing for that, and I'm not putting that on the world as a possibility. It's just a horrible feeling I've got. If they're going to introduce pity and stuff, it's always like, we'll give you it with this hand and we'll take it away with that hand, so that's why I'm worried about that. But we'll see how it plays out. But I just wish that they'd been a little bit more clear with this, because, I don't know, just the way it was put out there, I just kind of feel like it kind of set everyone's expectations that we were probably going to roll straight into the Goken warm-up, and yeah, we would have a chance to get a lot more of those tickets. But I guess they've been smart and they've realised that themselves, and they are essentially cock blocking us and stopping us gaining too many tickets, which is unfortunate. But in future I would say that when they're doing these, it would be nice if they could break them up. Just break them up, like even if it's just rough parts, first half of the month or second half of the month, if they don't want to give exact dates to tie themselves down. But if they just broke them up a little bit and told us when to expect these things a little bit clearer, people's expectations would be a bit more in check, and then we wouldn't really have this content confusion of where's this, where's that, why have we not got this, why have we not got that. Again, it would be nice. It would also be nice if these things were accurate, because there's been updates in the past, like the Sagat one, and it said that Sagat had an EX move. That never happened. So again, you can understand why people sometimes wonder if the things on here are even going to happen, because there's been things on here before that haven't happened. So again, if you can just put a little date in there, like not even a date, just a kind of time frame, it'll make people a lot less confused about where things are, you know? But anyway, I just wanted to say that because, again, they're doing better with the communications. It's the bare minimum, but they could just tighten it up a little bit and give us a little bit more detail, and then people wouldn't be expecting things that don't happen. Anyway, that's me. Catch you.